Hey Truth Seekers, it's Nathaniel with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be going over Link, Hope, and Holy Spirit. To start with, Link has the ability that says after your draw phase, if you have no power cards in hand, you may reveal your hand to your opponent, search your deck for one standard power card, and shuffle your deck. As a result, I'm only going to be running 5 power cards. 3 Hope, and 2 Holy Spirit. And so this way, I minimize the amount of power cards I'm going to see throughout the game, so that way I get more usage out of Link's effects. So it's basically almost like drawing another card and guaranteeing me having a power card every turn. So we're going to go ahead and move these up here. I have, for my equipment, 1 Scarlet Cord. The animal to whom this card is attached can either be returned to your hand or discarded from your small group at any time during your setup phase. If you choose to discard it, you may search your deck for any animal with an equal or lesser virtue point power and or virtue point and place it in your hand. This card must be discarded once this action is used. It's very helpful. It gets you set up. It allows me to reuse my gut pieces. Then I have 2 Letters of Galatia, which says search for an Animo that provides a Holy Spirit Fellowship bonus, and place it in your hand. I also have 2 Bible Study Holy Spirit, which lets me search my deck for a Holy Spirit Animo and reveal it to my hand, or reveal it and place it in my hand. Then I got 2 Runaway, which says select any animal from your discard pile and return it to your hand. These are my cards, so basically I got 2 Recycle cards and 4 Search cards. From my Cinnies, I have 1 Zapper King. It says your opponent may not play any level 1 animal from their hand into their small group during their next turn. I have 1 Grasshopper, which has the ability says as long as Cinny is active, your opponent must decrease their score by 2 points at the beginning of their turn. So the longer he's out there, the more points they use. But his weakness is a Hoof It, which is a common card in every deck, or at least should be a common card in every deck. Dismayfly has the ability says as long as this thing remains active, your opponent may not discard any cards from their hand. Then I have Tollcrow. Tollcrow has the action that says if your opponent has more power cards in their power pool than you in yours, choose any 1 power card from their power pool and discard it. This Tollcrow is actually pretty good with Link because I'm using a Hope deck, so I shuffle all my power cards back each turn, and Tollcrow essentially punishes my opponent for me playing carelessly. Refrigerator has the action that says your opponent may not use any love powers from their power pool or their Truth Seeker on their next turn, including Love from Prayer. Then we got our 3 Megas, which is Tollcrow Mega, Plant Trap Mega, and Walrus Mega. So just 316 big defense Cinnies. As for the Animo, I have 2 Hoof It. Hoof It says that if this card is in your hand, you may choose to discard it. If you do, you may shuffle any 3 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. And we have a Flow Ultra, which says swap. You may discard this card from your small group. If you do, you may search your deck for any 3 kind of animal, reveal them, and place them in your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. These cards are helpful cards that should be in every deck. So moving on to the actual Animo, so the animal I plan on activating, Lily. It says search your deck for any Faith, Hope, or Love animal and place it in your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. And then, because this is a Fellowship deck, I have Fos. Fos says, Fos is a 1 for 5 for the Fellowship bonus. Then we have 2 Gut Pieces. These gut piece says that when they're played from the hand into a small group, I search my deck for any 1 Faith or Hope Animo, so that way I can use it to go grab my Dependaroos. I'm going to use it to grab my Hoof It if I want. Mostly I'm using it to grab my Dependaroos. Sometimes my Silkrows. And then, because this is a draw deck, it's going to be drawing cards with Gut Piece and Silkrow. He has the ability, says once a card is played from your hand to grow Gut Piece level 1, you may reshuffle your hand in your deck and draw 6 cards. Then we have Strider, who has a swap ability. It says if this card's in your small group and your small group is full, you may choose to swap it with a level 1 animal from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. And because of that, we are also running Strider level 2, who has the action that says search your deck for any 1 Faith, Hope, or Love animal, excluding Ultra, and place it directly in your small group. He's very good, very powerful. He's a 1 for 8, which is an amazing value. And he allows me to go grab another Animo. So this way, since a lot of my Animo also cost 1 in this deck, he allows me to kind of combo off and go grab other Animo that I need to continue comboing. Now, this is going to bother me a little bit, but it works out so far because I only need to use him once. It's one line of Aquilion. If I'm ever in a place in a game where I've activated my Dependaroos and I've lost all my power cards, I can pay 1 with Aquilion to search my deck for up to 3 standard power cards and add them to my power pool. But I only run 1 copy of this guy because I only plan on using him once throughout the course of the game. So I can play this level 1, and I can draw 2 cards from him, let it sit for a turn, and then I can grow him into the level 2 and the level 3. So he is optional. Next, I have 1 Todoken Ultra, which is just so I can have a 2 for 10. Next, I have Hightail. Hightail has Retreat. Says this card's in your hand. You may choose to reveal it to your opponent. Then shuffle it back in your deck if you do draw 3 cards. I use it mostly as a story card. I rarely actually play and activate, although that's 2 for 9, which is great value. Then I have 2 different kinds of swimmers in my deck. I have this swimmer, which says search your deck for 1 standard power card and place it directly in your power pool. It helps me advance my power cards. But then this one is a 1 for 5, or it can be a 1 for 9, which is amazing value. This one, in fact, for the Holy Spirit, is a 1 for 5. So normally in Hope, Swimmer's just in every deck by default, and you never get to use the Fellowship bonus unless you're specifically using it for a Holy Spirit deck. So this deck uses a Holy Spirit, so I actually get to use Swimmer's effect. It's great. Or get the Fellowship bonus off of him. Next up, I have 2 Squibble, because he's a 1 for 6, and 2 Amaryllis, who's a 2 for 8. Both great values. Now, because this is a draw deck, I'm using 2 Socrows, level 1s, to let me draw. And then I have 2 Socrow level 2s, which let me shuffle my hand, my deck, and draw 5 cards. It's almost like taking another turn in the same turn. It's great. Now, going to my win condition of this deck is going to be Dependaroo. So Dependaroo is my win condition. So I got these level 1s who are 2 for 4, not great value. There's also a level 1 that is a 1 for 3, but you have to shuffle back the power card used to activate them. I just chose not to shuffle my power card back for level 1 because my goal is to grow him into this guy, who is a 1 for 9, and which has a Fellowship bonus of 1 for 12, which is amazing value. So if I activate 3 of these and then 1 in Quillion, I just got a value of basically 46, including the Quillion in a single turn. But most likely I'm not doing that, but I am drawing a lot of cards, so I might be able to actually pull it off. And then my final Ultra is Socrow Ultra. So that way it's 12 for 3, which is the same value as Percy, and Percy has an ability. It's just that this one costs Universal, and since I'm using Holy Spirit as well, I figured I might as well go ahead and just go with the one that had the Universal cost with it. Anyways, I'm going to bring this video to a close. This was my Link, Hope, and Holy Spirit deck. In the meantime, Truth Seekers, keep learning virtues and defeating Sinnies.